Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Coloring Passports. I'm Rio, your host, and today we are going to get right into the Risso Dolphin. I'm super excited about this one because these guys hunt squid and their bodies are marked up from hunting squid because the squid attach the little suckers to them and scar up their bodies, and so this is going to be a lot of fun. Every color of the rainbow represented in this one. Let's get started. Let's get into this. So I'm using Prismacolor and Hoo Heroes today. My two favorite brands. I feel like I want to do a couple of things that I typically don't do. The first thing I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to go ahead and color the entire Risso I'm going to grab the Hoo Cool Gray. I want to sharpen this a little bit more. I know it's still more sharp than, you know, what it could be, but I want a really fine point. I'm going to make sure you brush all that dust off because I find that that will stain your paper. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to come in here on the side and very carefully put a layer down over the entire thing. Now, if I had the Fisket, I would put the Fisket over the white areas, but those white areas really aren't white. They're going to read like, they read like white because they're lighter, a higher value than the rest of the Risso's body colorations. But sorry, yawned this morning super early. I'm really excited to be up this early here. Anyway, they read like white, but they aren't white. So I need to get some base color down over this entire dolphin, and I don't really want to see any of my strokes. So I am just coming in. I don't even know if you can see that it's been done. I can barely see it. Of course, I'm blind as a bat right now too. I need to go in and get my eyes checked and get new glasses and contacts. Okay. Got that. Let's get a little color down here on his pectoral fin. Very seldom do we ever fill in an entire object with the exact same color. But I needed to get rid of the white. So we're going to come in up here a little bit darker right around his dorsal fin. Start laying in some shadow color there because it is definitely there. Now we're obviously going to go over it with lots of other colors. You know the drill. I didn't do this book in order according to, you know, page count because I like to bounce around. I had never illustrated a dolphin with colored pencils and watercolors before, so I chose one that I thought would be a great learner. So I always recommend everyone start with the Irrawaddy dolphin and then go to the, which one did I do second? The Dusky. Then go to the Dusky. The Dusky is where I had the major breakthrough on how to illustrate these guys in a timely fashion. So cut down on the time, included all the colors of the rainbow, and it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Are there things I would change if I was going to do it a second time? Absolutely. Always. I always find that to be truth. So I know for a fact that this pectoral fin is going to be really dark. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more of the cool gray here. And Hoo Hero calls this cool gray, but y'all, I see yellow in this. I see a lot of yellow or green in this. I think this is not really a cool, it should have more blue if it's going to be a cool gray, but I want this particular color, that's why we're using it. And that's also why I don't use nomenclatures like cool and warm when I'm talking to you about color, because you see color relative to the color that it's around. And a cool color can look warm if it's up against the a color that is cooler than it. So, more blues, more purples. And I don't like the confusion of it all. We're gonna take some liberties here and draw some really fun shapes on this dolphin because, like I said, one of their favorite meals is squid. Excuse me. And so the squid attach themselves to the dolphins and, you know, leave all these little marks on them. So we're just gonna get in here and we're just gonna start to randomly. See how I'm just randomly, this is a darker area here. This is gonna be a darker area here. This is definitely a darker area right there. This is all darker in here. This is all darker in here. I always take the liberty to draw some things for you so that it's a little easier to get started and kind of not get lost in the painting. But this illustration that we're doing is directly from the photo on the page, so you have a great reference photo to work from, and you've got the tutorial. Just take your time, don't get discouraged. Again, we're not going for perfection, this is for practice. I'm gonna gradually start building up the color here on the front of his nose. He's got a shadow underneath his mouth. I love dolphins because they always look like they're smiling. Okay. So that's starting to develop really nicely. So I know that this part back here on his pectoral fin is darker. I'm literally looking at the page to get my reference here. This is super dark in here. And we'll never get super dark with this particular colored pencil, but we can start to lay in darker colors with it. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm going to come in right over the top of that and do some more stuff. Did you see how smooth this is starting to look? I'm barely touching, and I'm not coloring like straight up and down. I'm just making egg shapes here and starting to lay in some colors. Literally just the same colored pencil, just trying to get all of this color in there how I want it. I know that his dorsal fin is darker except where he's got the scars. So I'm going to start laying some of that in so I know that can go darker, obviously can go darker. The water on this one's going to be super fun. We don't have to get overly excited about his fluke structure because we're gonna have splashes coming up. So I'm actually think I'm gonna break out some paintbrushes for this one to do the water because it's the easiest way to do the water. Let's get this colored in here. This is all dark areas of his body. Still using the same colored pencil. Did your hand hurt? Because mine's starting to hurt. Okay. I'm going to set that one aside for a minute and pick up my next colors. Okay, so we've got the gray down, one color so far. Cool gray, Hoo Hoo Hero, right? Now I'm going to grab my sky blue light from the Prismacolor, and I'm going to go right over the top of all of that. Going to kind of draw some random squiggles here. Not getting too crazy with it, but I know that, you know, that's how this sweet baby looks. He's got random squiggles all over his body from marks from those squid. I'm going to color this in. I'm going to color this in. We're going to come down here and color a little bit over this, just a little, just a touch. And then we're going to come in with some other colors and start really laying this down. So again, I don't have the whole thing covered with this blue because I want to blend out with one of these later, so I don't want to do too much. I'm going to grab a jade green. Oh yeah, that's lovely. Yep, I know you thought it was gray, but guess what? It's grays come in every color of the rainbow. So let's see here, I'm going to put some up here, kind of pull that out just a touch. And all of this is going to look real scratchy and rough, and then we'll come back in with a higher value and blend it all out, and it will be beautiful. I see some of that green in here. I see some of that green in here. We're going to come in and start to define the eye shape a little more. Definitely going to come in here and define his mouth some more. These sweet little babies are so dang cute. Just can't get enough. Can't get enough. We're just going to keep building and building and building this color until we have all the colors laid in here that I think are necessary, and then we're going to get crazy wild with it. And it's never going to be exact. I'm not trying to copy the page exactly. These are like field notes. This is where you learn about the animal as well as take notes on its behavior if you get to see these in the wild. And this is a field note sketch so that you can remember details about it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So we're not going for perfect. We're just going for done. Gonna be darker in here for sure. I see that. It's super dark right there. See, he's already starting to kind of come together. Still doesn't look great, but starting to come together. I'm gonna leave that one out. I like to leave the colors out that I've used so I can reference them, go back to them. So 90% cool gray. I'm gonna come over here and start laying this in right here. This is more like a Payne's gray, but it has a little more red in it than a Payne's gray would. So I'm gonna very, very softly start coloring in this back pectoral fin. And I'm going to put some other colors over this black, this 90% gray. But for right now, this is where we're at. Okay, I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to go over the edge. Don't worry about staying in the lines. If you color outside the lines, no big deal. We're gonna color the background anyway, so we're not gonna worry about that. I definitely know that his mouth is darker. So I'm just making tiny little circles and blending that color right over the top of what's already there. And I might have gone a little high on that, but that's okay. I feel like his face kind of looks like craters on the moon. So in here it's a little bit darker, but I also see purple in that, so I see a lot of purple in that. So I'm gonna have to come back in with another color and kind of add some more colors in there. This is a little bit darker down here. Look how cool he already looks. And it's literally just a buildup of the color. It's nothing fancy. We're not doing anything crazy to it. We're just building up the color. I'm gonna come up here, because I can definitely see, but I also see the purple underneath, so we're gonna do this first. And then we're gonna come in with some other colors right on top, and then we're gonna blend it all out, and you're gonna see that it's pretty magical once all these colors come together. So it doesn't look great at first, but then wow, it just pops right off that page. You're about to see it happen. Okay, so right here it's super dark, so we're gonna add some more dark back here. And notice that I'm not just coloring everything in, I'm purposely skipping full areas of this, because that's how you get it to look real. If that's the look you're going for. If you want it to be an illustration, then just color it like, you know, solid colors, no big deal. I always try to make these look realistic when I'm coloring them. I like the challenge of that very much so, of trying to figure out how in the world I would get it to look like it does in real life with just colored pencils. Just keep going. Not talking a lot because there's not a lot to say. Just keep going. Just continuing to blend this out, and just randomly, literally, it's almost like scribbling on it, but very lightly scribbling. Okay, so I feel like this right here is really dark. So let's get in here and darken this up a little bit. We're gonna come in with some other colors up here, and right now it looks really scribbly. I understand, but it's going to look really good here in just a minute. I'm gonna come in up here and darken this one more time. So I've grabbed some more high value colors. I'm going to attempt to see if this light peach is going to give me a tone up here that I like. Definitely, I can see this color here on its body. Can definitely see some of this color up here on his face. A little bit in the dark areas. I can see some of it here. Can see some of it here. Can definitely see some of it in here, but not a lot. Okay, so as we come down this stretch here, there's a little bit of it there. I'm gonna leave that out just in case I need it again. I'm gonna grab some of the, I think this is Deco Peach, okay? And we're gonna have to get in here with some darker colors and just suck it up and be brave. So this is 70% gray. The cool gray. And I'm not pressing hard. I just want to build up this color, and I don't want to color everything in because these poor babies, like I said, they have lots of marks on their bodies from the squid that they hunt. And so we want to leave as much of that visible as possible. I'm going to come down here and get this pectoral fin. I find that if I get one area of it set the way I like, it's a lot easier to move on with the rest of it. Getting the eye shape defined. The eyes are the window to the soul. If you get the eye drawn right, then everything else looks real. It's just one of those tricks. Let's get up here and add a little more color to this. Let's get up here and get this dorsal fin drawn in a little darker too. That'll help. And we'll use some other colors up here in just a minute. In here and make these a little darker. %, warm gray. Let's see what that looks like. That's not terrible. We're a little warmer right here where the light's gonna hit. Still not my favorite. 90% cool gray. Let's get some more of this color in there. Needs to be a little more purple. Going right over the top here with chestnut. because I see some of that color in his spots here. And then I'm going to come over the top with some more color. See how we've got, see how it changes the tone of that? I just think that's the way that it's, I think that's the way it reads. A little bit of the lilac, is that what this is? Lavender. You have lilac if you're using the Hoo Hoos or the other brand. Don't stress out again about the exact color of the pencils. Use what you have. Little too purple there. Right now it's reading very, very, very purple. However, I'm gonna fix that. So I want some purple back here as well. Then I'm gonna go over it with some blue. I need some more blue in this. So what color of blue do I want in this? I think I want to go right over the top of this with the periwinkle. Yep, there it is. There's the color. And then as it comes down, I'm gonna still color with the periwinkle for right now, but you're gonna see me pick up some other colors here and put it, and lay down some other colors in this. Going right over the top of that purple with the periwinkle. Yep, that's the color. Craters on the moon. It's a hot mess right now, but you're gonna see, we're gonna come back in and clean it all up. Right now we're just adding more and more and more color to this. That's all we're doing, is just adding more color. Periwinkle on the belly. I see that reflection of the water. Very, very, very gently. I don't want to color everything in, but I do want to put that periwinkle in there. Come up here. It's really a light lavendery gray. Putty beige. Let's see if this is it. No, not really. I mean, that's not terrible down here, but that's not really what I'm going for either. Okay, so that's a no. Which one is this? Warm gray. I want the cool gray. Let's just get right into this. I'm pushing fairly hard now, and I'm not done because I'm not happy with it's got to be darker. But this kind of helps solidify all the scratchies and all of the different areas of the dolphin here. Oh yeah, see, that's looking pretty dang good. Okay, I didn't sharpen it to a full-on point because I'm using it as a blending stick. So I'm using it to blend out all of these rough edges here that I don't like yet on this sweet dolphin. As you see how all the chicken scratches that I did when I first got started now kind of make sense, because they're reading like the chicken scratches that he has on him from the squid. The squid scratches is what we'll call them. We'll call them squid scratches. Gonna come back here. This is all too high in value. All of this has got to be darkened. But before we darken it up, we have to add the highlights first, the lighter values first, and then come in and do our due diligence with the darkening up the image. Okay, so we know that this is kind of our go-to, and we know that this is the white. So let's see if we can make some marks on here with the white. We gotta go darker, that's the problem. It isn't the higher value, it's that we have to go darker on this. We have all of these beautifully transitioned colors, but they're just not dark enough. They gotta go darker, gotta go darker. So I'm gonna keep pressing this into this. It's like craters on the moon. I keep saying it, but that's what I think when I paint this. Okay, see how the white has really brought that all forward? Now we have to get brave. This is the scary part. Let's start adding some color here. Look at that, that already starts to make him take some shape here. And we're gonna come in with the paint pens and really highlight the areas on his face to make him pop. So this is the 90% warm gray, which means this has a red base to it. I'm barely pushing right now. I don't want to overpower anything with this red, because really this should be a little more blue over here, but I need this color too. So I'm just gonna start, I'm just laying it in, and I'm just taking my time. We're in no hurry. I'm gonna do something fun with the background on this one. Same warm gray. Just adding more and more color. That's all we're doing. Adding more color. So now I'm going to sharpen my 90% cool gray. And I'm just going to bounce around, making tiny little circles in this entire area here. And as I come up his body, I'm gonna release the pressure so I'm not coloring as hard. So more of that tone from underneath shines through. Because it is a little darker up here in areas. And see what's happening right now? I'm just coming in to certain parts of this and just adding touches of color. Nothing crazy, just touches of color. And then we'll do the exact same thing that we did a while ago. We'll go right back over it with one of those high value pencils and just smooth it all out, blend it all in, and it will be beautiful. So we add another layer of dark right here to this pectoral fin. We're gonna add some more dark to this one because it definitely is going to have a shadow on this side of it. It's also going to have some shadow right here in this part of it. I like it after I've really hammered some of that color down into it because it's slick. It works like when it feels like painting with oil paint sometimes. After you get enough color down on this, it's really, really fun to work with because it's smooth and buttery and the color just goes down so brilliantly that I just thoroughly enjoy the process of it. I know, it's looking kind of messy. Right now it looks really messy, but trust me, it's gonna be cool when we're done. And we might not be able to get all of the lines in it that it has, because it has some really distinct lines in it from those squid, but we're gonna get close. And that's all I'm looking for, is just to get close to the feeling of what it really looks like. This needs to be darker. This has to get darker back in here. This has to go darker. We're still nowhere near dark enough on this. It's going to be challenging. And I know that there's purple in that, I can see it. So I'm gonna put some lavender in this right now. Okay, the espresso is working, but in small doses because it's more red. I mean, it looks literally, it's in the grayscale, but it's not the color that we want. 20% warm gray. See how we're constantly going back and forth over the entire thing? The cool part about that is that it roughs it all up, just like what they look like in real life. So we go back over it with the lighter tones, then we come back in it with the darker tones. Don't worry about that. I'm not unhappy. Let's keep going. 50% gray. This is the cool gray. So we're starting to add some of this color right in through here. We're gonna have to darken some of this. That's the problem that we have, is that we're just not quite dark enough yet still. So, you know how I tell you that I never use black? Well, I'm gonna grab the ivory black, because ivory black is a blue black, okay? And that's what I need in here. I need the blue, and I need it to be darker in order for this to translate the way I want it to translate. So I'm grabbing the ivory black from the Hoo Hoo Heroes, because it won't be as strong. It'll be a little more transparent. So we're going to come in here and kind of grind out some of this. I mean, it's super transparent. It's really, really, really transparent. Can't hardly see it at all. But it is doing a great job to just slightly darken some of these lines. Now, the blessing and the curse of me drawing all this for you is that you have lines that you really can't get rid of, which is going to alter the way that you see the painting. And so those lines are going to flatten some things out. But again, this is for practice. This is how I would be doing this. If I was planning to paint this on an actual painting, I would do this first. So much easier. I used to not, and now that I've started doing my own coloring books, I realize how incredibly important to the process this truly is, and how much of a blessing it is to take the time to come in and paint some of these things like this prior to planning out the actual painting. Makes the process so much better, so much easier. And look how much fun this is. darkening this. Coming in, I gotta darken this up here. Gonna darken what we've got going on there. How are we looking? I love the multiple layers of color that I can see through all this. I'm just gonna come in with this ivory black because it's very, very, very transparent, and I'm just gonna mark him up because he is marked up. He's highly marked up. A little bit darker still. A little bit darker still. A little bit darker still. Same transparent ivory black. Don't use a regular black like this. Look for your ivory black. Wow, look at that. Okay, that's not terrible, right? It's not terrible. Okay, so now we're gonna come in with some of this powder blue. Okay, then we're gonna come in with some of this cream yellow. What's it looking like online? See how even though the colors are all super similar, you can see every color of the rainbow in this fish. Sorry, you can see every color of the rainbow in this dolphin. It's not a fish. Dolphins are mammals. They're not fish. Y'all, I'm so used to coloring fish. Okay, see how pressing down super hard with this kind of starts to bring all of these elements together. And then we'll go down again with the white. And it's literally just allowing it to start to blend. We're starting to blend that color out. That needs some more color, more gray on there, so we're gonna go with the 30 warm. I wanna go with the 30 cool gray. Yeah. Now I want the 50. That's the warm. Well, that's the 70. Let's just use a little bit of it. I'm just gonna keep coming in here and randomly just making some little scratchies. That's all I'm doing, is making some scratchies. I'm making a shadow here. Right up against his body. I have officially picked up the black in the Prismacolor because I'm still not satisfied with how dark this is. So I'm just barely scribbling here. Just blending some of this out just a little bit darker. Literally, that's it, just a little bit darker. Gonna grab blue slate, come up here and add some blue highlights here. Going to grab my cloud blue, go right on top of that. And I mean, I'm pushing super hard because I really want that to show up. Okay, what's your face looking like? Oh, look at that sweet baby. Okay, is it perfect? No, it isn't. Is it as dark as the image that we're working from? No, it isn't. Did I chicken out and not use my black until after I had, really loaded up? See, this black is a Mars black though, which means that it's a red black, and I can see that in the black, so I don't like using it. I just don't like using it. But if I want this to be a little bit darker, I have no choice but to come in and just randomly put a little bit of this here and there. Okay, I think that we can't do anything else with this for a hot minute. I think that the next step with this is gonna have to be the paint pens, because I have really saturated some areas of this. Let's grab this grayed lavender. Come over the top of this, a little bit of gray lavender here, a little bit of gray lavender here, a little bit on his side. See how that just sort of changes everything going on here. And then what we'll do is, this is the white. I'm literally just drawing across all of it. Coloring directly on top. Add some right there, and I'm pushing real hard with this. So some of this is, oh my goodness. There we go. That's it. That's it. There's that. Let's add a highlight right here. See how that just blended with what was there already? I'm gonna add some of the white here. And you see how that's just roughing it up even more? Because that's what their bodies look like. So I'm just trying to mimic that as much as I can. Is there more color in this that I wasn't able to capture? Absolutely. I see a lot more purple in it now that I have layered so much of it on that I don't know that I can get any more purple into it. Let's just see. These colored pencils are so much fun. I just didn't have any idea how amazing they really are. Okay, that's it. We're gonna just quit right there for the dolphin part. We're just gonna call the dolphin done for now. Okay, let's regroup, come back and do the background. We got the Risso kind of where I want it. It looks good, it's dimensional, it makes the curve aside from the lines that I've drawn, so there's nothing I can do about that. So now I wanna grab some colors that will look good for water. So I'm gonna start with my lightest color first, and I believe I'm gonna grab little sky blue here, maybe the light purple. Let me see these. That's pastel blue. That's got more green in it though, I can see that. Is that what we want? Yeah, that's probably what we want. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the pastel blue on the hoo-hoos. I'm gonna see what this looks like on here. We're gonna very lightly start adding in some. So I kind of just want to draw a line like this. This is here, this is here. So we're gonna have some fun color up over the tail. But all of this area here, except for this right here, I'm gonna draw this diagonal line right here. I'm famous for diagonal lines. Ask Kay, she'll tell you, my mentor. Okay. So this is gonna be solid water right here, okay? This is all gonna be splashy, and this back here is your background solid water. And this water does not go straight across because it's the ocean and it's constantly moving. So I'm gonna come in and just draw a little bit of wave structure with the side of this pencil. And this down in here is gonna do this, and this is doing this. So this is where you see that it really doesn't matter if we went outside of the lines. Now over here, I want to just start putting in some color. And the reason why I'm just literally coloring this is because we're going to come in with the paintbrush and some gouache, which is opaque watercolor. And we are going to put some highlight colors on here and get the splashes in. So in order to see that, we have to put some darker color down first. See how this is already working? And we're also gonna pull some of that color into the tail and into the bottom part here of the Risso, because that's gonna anchor everything together. It's gonna give you that reflective light. It's gonna be great. So this is just gonna do this. Okay, so that is the sky blue. No, pastel blue. That's pastel blue. Now we're gonna grab the light blue and see how much different, ooh, see how much more intense that is? So we're going right beside what we just did, just right next to it. We don't wanna cover it up. We just want them to play nice together. And that's almost too much. I'm gonna come in here, because I drew this. I know that this is a hole where the water is gonna show through. This is also a hole where the water is gonna show through. We're gonna put these light colors in, then we're gonna gray this out a little bit so that it looks cohesive with our sweet baby Risso Dolphin here. Okay, so now we know that we have this. This is gonna come this way. Just using the edge of the pencil to start to mimic the water. Do not stress out here. Everything is just fine. Okay, I'm gonna set that down. Now I'm gonna grab, I feel like I wanna see what this looks like. Ooh. So this is the light purple blue, and I do see this color in the water over here. Most definitely see it in the water over here. I also see it back here in this water. Just like everything else, I'm not coloring the entire thing in. I also see some of that up here in the sweet baby dolphin. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Yep, that's there. That's definitely there. This is also up here. So do you see that that brings that side out? It kind of puffed his side out there. So now you can see that he's bulbous. Oh, that's the tricks, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm teaching you all the tricks. So pardon my reach while I get in here and I just lay in some of this color. This is all splishy splashy, so this is all really chaotic. And this is not really the color that I want 100%, but I know this color's got to get laid down first. So we're just going to make some rando scratches here, just kind of like we did on the dolphin. So look at that. Not very pretty. But you'll see what we do with this after the fact. We just have to get that color down. Look at that. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so there we go with those. Whew, they're trying to get away. Okay, I don't want to use that sky blue. So now what I want to do is come in with some of this peacock. And very carefully, just start. And this color is very intense. I'm just making squiggles. Not over the entire thing. That's the trick. You don't want to color the entire thing this color. Just making some squiggles. Because this is super, super intense. Now these guys are living in the New Zealand area, South Africa, South America. So the watercolor is going to be this color. And again, this still looks all squiggly and gross together. It doesn't look like anything is doing what it should be at all. But you'll see here in a minute. We will pull it all together and it will be gorgeous. So there's the peacock. Now we're going to come in with the periwinkle. Right over the top of that. See how that changes the color of the water? So pretty. We need more of the periwinkle in here for the splashes. Water's not perfect, but we're not going for perfection with the water. Okay, now we want to use the blue slate. Making sure that there's some of that on his body. Right? Okay. Oh, look at that, it broke. And this is what we do. I'm just gonna use my fingers. I pushed too hard. Okay. All right, now let's break out some gouache here. I never encourage you to use white straight out of the tube. However, with this, practice again, not perfection. So we're just going to come in and add some of these little splashies. And this brush is not the brush that I would typically use to do this, but I don't know where my stippling brush is. And it's not a fancy brush, it's just a paintbrush that's been used for a couple of years. And so the edges of it are very rough. And so when you do this with that brush, it's very random. And I like that. Now as we're doing this, I'm gonna swirl some of this around just a bit. I'm not letting any of the water come out of the barrel. So we're doing a dry brush of the gouache. Again, gouache is nothing more than opaque watercolors. But see how that works. Remember that mistake we had over there? Look, it's gone. Okay, now that I have some of this down here, I'm going to go ahead and let my brush get a little wet. There we go. Okay, now we're into it. And I'm going to come in here and just swirl some of this around like this. And I will pick up some other colors. Here in just a moment, and go right over this. Look how much fun that is. Yep. Still think I'm going to outline it. I feel like I want to do something darker in the background. So I just grabbed the sky blue in the Arteza gouache line. I don't want to blend it all. I want it to be kind of random. So that it loosely looks like ocean waves. That's what I'm going for. A loose interpretation of ocean waves. So there's a little bit of white on the brush, and then there's a little bit of that. This says sky blue, but it's really it's got way more purple in it. And maybe if you thinned it out, it would read like sky blue on a landscape. We could test the theory. That's fun. Remember, these are for practice, not perfection. Can't be afraid to try something new, because if you are, you'll never learn anything. Oh, you know what? If we keep doing this, first of all, this is a great color for the colors that are in this whale, okay? And if we keep doing this rough background here, then we can come in with some water splashies over here and make it look like, the water is splashing off of his back, so you'll be able to see him better. Okay, I don't hate it. I like it a lot. This is a lot of fun, you guys. This one has been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next one already. In fact, I might just keep filming today. Y'all have inspired me so much. Okay, there's enough water on there now to kind of make it work. That's a fun background. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh yeah, oh my gosh. It looks even better on camera. See, sometimes it's hard for me to tell what I've done because I'm so close to it, but when I see it in the camera, I'm like, whoo, that works. And see, I'm just as excited as you are and shocked. I'm just as shocked as you are that this actually worked. Okay, so I'm gonna put that down. I'm gonna try to grab my titanium white. The titanium white has not been wanting to open in this. These little metal containers are super nice, so, but the only downside to them is that they're sometimes incredibly hard to open. I use my teeth. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. So what happens if we just come in? Look at it. Wow, look at it. I'm so happy. So I want to just kind of brush some of them. I want to leave some of them whole, you know. And then some of them I just want to brush. Gonna add a little squiggles here in the water so that you can see that there are some lines in the water as well coming up from this. Holy cow, that's so cool. I love it. Is it perfect? No, it's not. Is it exactly how I would do it for a painting? No, but now if I were to paint this, I would know exactly where to start and how to get there. And it would be a lot easier than just flying blind with it. So I'm going to come right over the top of some parts of the dolphin here and just start adding in some streaks of this white. It's going to do a couple of things. It's going to help to solidify some of those random lines that we want in there from the, look at that. So it just makes him look a little more beat up from the, squid encounters that they're having. It's very good. Okay, so this brush is going to have to I literally just squeezed out some of the water into the lid because the lid won't leak. Well, I thought the lid wouldn't leak. The lid does leak. The lid does in fact leak, so we're gonna set that right there. Okay, so I need a tinier brush. I need one of my small baby brushes. So let's get this one out. So I know that we have white up here. And again, this doesn't have a mixing white in it, so it's just straight white, and it should have a little bit of yellow in there because that will read like light. So I'm gonna put this in where I need to, and then I'm going to use the paint pens to make it a little more graphic illustration-y. But you see how just coming in and just randomly adding a little bit of that paint is making this look even more realistic. I mean, it's literally that simple. It's just more layers. Just adding more layers to the baby. Oh my goodness, that's pretty freaking cool. Okay, I'm gonna put the lid on that one. I gotta clean that up too. Okay, I'm gonna put the lid back on this. Coming in with a little bit of that turquoise, just to give him a little bit of separation. We've got all of this water blowing right off of him. And so I'm just gonna draw some squiggles up here just to kind of give it some direction. I don't want to draw too much into that though, because I really like the color of that sky blue because it's really perfect. Let's go back over it with this because that's the color of it in colored pencil terms. Okay, so now I want my paint pen. I want my paint pen. Okay, this is my teeny tiny baby paint pen. Oh, see, I messed that up. Got a little bit of color right there. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's too much color right there. So we're covering up a little bit of that line that I drew, and that's fine. That's fine. Gives it a little more definition, a little more shape. I'm gonna give him a little bit more white underneath here on his lips. A little bit of lines here. Just gonna kind of set those down just a little because they're just a little too intense. There we go. Look at that. Gonna give him a little line there. Kind of smudge that out. Give him a little bit of line here. A little bit there. Okay. And with that, I think we're gonna call it good. Let's sign this thing and just be done with it. So here we go. Love, Rio. All right. And there you have it. The Risso Dolphin is done. Are there other things we could do to it? Absolutely, you could just keep going, but why? Why keep going? This is the perfect illustration for this. That's it for the Risso Dolphin. Thanks for joining me in the studio. I'll catch you on the next page. Ciao.